Oh, can I get my beer, please? Please. Hey, everybody. I'm hoping it's working. I don't know. I gotta see. Oh, you guys, so much has been going on. You're like, better not go into it because I have to make sure you're here. It's just one of those things, baby. It's one of those things. I think I'm here. I'm here. Ah, so happy. Missed you guys so much last week, though. You guys, so fun. Who doesn't want to go to a heavy equipment auction? Dead serious. Anyway, Yarnitarian, episode 22. Next week, okay, if this thing works, not this thing, because this thing is working, but if I have, because one of the people, gosh, I want to remember who it was. They were so nice. They sent me a link for, remember the thing where it like chooses a comment, right? Well, that one I had to pay for. It gives you like a week free trial, but there's one that's free. So if that thing works and can pick a comment so that the person can win, then I'm going to give away a Dice Secrets session. It's $395 prize next week. But the reason why that has to work, I'm going to try it tonight, is because it's so valuable, I can't do the counting thing, because if I mess up, I'm going to feel really bad, and I don't want to do that to somebody. In other words, if someone comments like 3 times and I end up accidentally counting their comment twice, and it ends up bumping the person that should have won it, when it's just like a couple, when it's like $30 worth of stuff or $40 worth of stuff, oh well. But when it's like $395, I want it to actually be the person that rightfully should randomly get it. And then if the person that the random chooser chooses doesn't want it, then I'll choose another person. Because now it'll just choose a comment. It's not going to choose whether or not you want it. Are you guys excited? Because I am. I'm really excited, but this is how much I love you. I really do. I just love you guys so much. You're just so loving, and you make me feel really wanted and important. And that's a basic human need. I don't know if you guys know that. You're like, stop gushing over us. Please just tell us something interesting. But go on. Tell us how wonderful we are. No, you guys are wonderful. Anyway, so a lot's happened. Oh my gosh. And I don't even know where to start except for the part where my retreat in Pennsylvania went amazing, by the way. I'm just going to say that. It was like harrowing getting there. And I've decided that service is dead in America. Like, seriously, I have so much to tell you. I'm not going to tell you about the hotel and the debacle at the hotel and the debacle, because I'll complain about that stuff on another day. But all in all, I have to tell you, the retreat was one of the better ones that I've done, and I was a little rusty because I haven't done a retreat, on raw fiber dyeing in a while. But it's like my expertise, so I'm just gonna write here. So for next week. Okay. So anyway, but the people were amazing, and they did really well, and there was time for 6 pots, which is that's a lot. That's a lot. People get really tired. They were a great group of ladies, and it went really well. Sherry Tenney hosted it, which I really appreciated. And if anybody else ever wants to host one, it is a little bit stressful for you guys, but I did tell Sherry, don't be stressed out, Sherry, because nothing matters as long as I do my job, and I do my job. So, like, you could have, like, the most amazing facility. You could have everything go right, but if the teacher sucks, it doesn't matter. You could have everything go wrong with the facility, but if the teacher's really good and does their job, nobody cares about all of the debacles. And there weren't any. And like I said, people were amazing. But if you, live in an area where you think that people will want to participate, then I will come to your area. Also, I think I'm going to have, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I think I'm going to have a retreat here in September. But listen to this. There's a lot to tell you, but I will tell you. So when I was a little girl, I wanted to be an auctioneer. So if you guys read my Facebook page earlier, I asked if anybody knows any auctioneers, anything about any of the auctioneer schools. But I wanted to be an auctioneer badly. And then, but I had a tremendous fear of public speaking. You're like, really? That's hard to believe. I did. You guys, I had such a horrible fear of public speaking. And so it like revisited this idea of being an auctioneer, revisited when I was going to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. I was like, gosh, I really want, and I looked it up, and it was only like $1,100 or $1,200. And the one that, at the time, there weren't a whole bunch of them that because the internet wasn't like it is now, where you put in the search into Google and it tells you, all of the auctioneers. It was like there were only a couple that, I could find on the internet. And so, and I think I had to stay there for 2 weeks, but the thought of being in front of people and having to practice, because I'm a person, there's a couple reasons why I don't do things recorded. One of them is that I don't want to scrub things, and there's this element of like us being together and you being able to chat with me and me being able to like connect with you that's really important to me. And another reason is because if I'm recorded and if it's fake, then I just choke. I choke really badly. It has to be real. So I'm not a good person to go and, you know, when they want to do role playing, like I can't do role playing. It has to be the real deal. As a matter of fact, when I was, you know how you do the birthing classes? So with the first baby you have, so, and I was having Connery at home. And so they, you know, the midwives were like, you should really do this birthing class. It's really good for everybody to go to, you know, to it, et cetera, et cetera. And then, so I go to it begrudgingly. And at the time I was, you know, younger, I was like 27. And so I wasn't really, I was thinking I was a problem. Like it was a problem with my personality that I didn't want to participate in this thing. I really blamed myself tremendously and felt a little bit like a failure because I didn't want to do it. And then when they came to the part where they're like, okay, lean against your partner and pretend like you're pushing, I remember just going, no. Like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, right? And I just felt so stupid. Like I'm looking around the room at all the adults and they're doing this pretend birthing. And let's just be straight here. There's no preparing anyway. So now in retrospect that I've had 5 children the same way, I realize that your body just, you know, pretty much takes over. And like all this, I think mentally it's like making you feel better, but it's not really preparing you. You cannot prepare for birth, really. I mean, you really can't. It's its own entity, right? And I remember the midwives that, like after the first or second class, I went in, you know, for your regular checkup, and they're like, okay, we got a call from the teacher of this birthing class, and they're very concerned about you and your attitude. Yeah. And I remember getting so irritated that somebody was tattling on me because I didn't feel like role playing. And part of it is I'm not a good role player. And when I was modeling, like if you know how if they wanted me to go in and like pretend like I was, you know how you're like, you go to a ghostie, they're called ghosties, and you're supposed to essentially audition, right? The audition I couldn't do, but the second the red light goes on, I can totally pull it off. So the only, you know, if it was, and it was film at the time, it wasn't digital, right? So, and that's a really big production. But the commercials that I got were ones where they didn't care whether or not I was going to be convincing. They were just like, okay, this is what we want you to say. And I would fully pull it off. And so, and thankfully not many of them I had to really speak in very much. One of them, I was sitting in a Porsche, a red Porsche, and I had to stick my foot out, and they were, it was a tennis shoe commercial. And I had to say, look, I was like had my hands on the steering wheel, and I opened the door and put my foot out, and I look at the camera, and I go, come on, G. I know. You're like, wow, that was such a big line. How did you remember it? Well, they had cards. I'm just kidding. But anyway, yeah. So I'm just not a good, but moving on. But since then, of course, then after I got my master's, by then you've had to take public speaking. And in my master's, I was just a lot more mature. And in life, even in art, you know, when we relate it to art, there's sometimes you're just not ready for stuff. You're just not ready for it, and you might like beat yourself up. And I just wasn't ready. I wasn't secure enough to be able to put myself out there. I don't want to say insecure is the wrong word. Self-conscious, maybe that's a better word, self-conscious. And, you know, nobody likes to be rejected, and nobody likes to be ridiculed and laughed at. And so I had a lot, you know, tremendous fear of that. And now I don't quite have that. I mean, I still don't want to be ridiculed, believe me. Like, who does? But I, you know, at 56, wouldn't it be great if I could actually do something that I've always wanted to do? And then what if I was actually decent at it? Like, that would be really cool. And plus, you guys, I am an auction junkie. Like, I am a total auction junkie. I love heavy equipment auctions. I'm like, Roberta, when she went to that estate sale with all those, you know, cars, those 80 cars and all the equipment, and I was just talking to the old guys. Like, I could just talk to them forever about forklifts and tractors and about livestock and about raising livestock. I mean, she's like, Natalie, you're with your people. Like, and it seems like, because I look so cityfied, but you start talking like agriculture, and I'm like all in. I would much rather, I'm really into fashion, but I don't want to talk about fashion. I want to wear fashion because I like pretty things, right? But you start talking about heavy equipment, and like I'm happy. Like that's my total element. And I always whenever I think about Roberta, I always hear her saying, "You're with your people." She's from the Philippines, but it's just awesome because I feel so American, and I love our country. I love America. I love that I am American. I'm proud to say I'm American. And, you know, when I'm with my people and I'm, you know, talking about things relating to agriculture, you know, heavy equipment or like, you know, how many horsepower, you know, you need for your tractor to lift, you know, X amount. I just feel like it's so down to earth and so Americana. Really into it. You guys are like, wow. We're so bored. Moving on though, so I think I'm gonna in September. I think I'm gonna go to auctioneer school, and it's like 7 days, and it's like now it hasn't increased the price that much. I think it's like $1,500 or $1,700. I just don't know which one because there's quite a few of them, and I don't know which one to pick. And plus, you know, my husband's like, you'll be amazing because you talk fast. I'm not sure that that's. I don't think that that's is relevant or germane. Because it seems like the people that are, you know, like if you go online and you look at women auctioneers, they're speaking slowly, but when they're actually calling, they are rapid. Anyway, does anybody know any auctioneers? You gals have to know somebody. Come on. Let's see. I think it would be so fun. Okay. I have to go all the way up. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. I talked for too long. Okay, and also Saddle, but I don't have your address. I have your yarn right here. Which I almost like. So I feel. Hi, Ike. Hi, Ike. Darlene, can you email me your address too, more? Oh, you have a package for me? I like that. You guys, I got a cup. Oh, Sean, if you're listening, will you bring me my cup? Somebody sent me a cup, and somebody sent me some red vines. Let's see. Okay, I will do this more. I'm gonna copy your address right now. I'm having a trouble. I'm just going to screenshot it. Darlene. Okay, let me go up. Hi, everybody. Okay, Ms. Shelley and Allison, and I see Ms. Dahlia. So Girl Quilting, and I missed you guys too. And Ellie Mae, and of course Ike, and Liz Rose, Darlene and Sutton, Kelly and Pedro. Hi, Pedro. Mandolin and Pastor Lynn. I got to meet Pastor Lynn, who I loved, who was so nice. Such a nice lady. Lovely person. Really lovely person. Very warm. You guys, I had a great time. In Pennsylvania. And it was really embarrassing because I kept telling everybody that I was going to Maryland. You know, that's in, you know, like I'd be telling people, and then I can't this week because I'm going to Maryland. And then I was like, well, yeah, because I was just in Pennsylvania. And they're like, well, I thought you went to Maryland. Right? Because when you're on the West Coast, you don't realize that you can fly into, what is it? Baltimore. And then go right over to Pennsylvania. Okay, Diana and Pam. Mary Wildflower. Sale barns are my date days after 20 years together. I'm telling you, I'm all over that. Kelly and Samantha, I love you. I do. And did I see Liz already? And okay, and I love that Pedro made a heart. And Linda and Susie Q and Chastity. I want to make sure that I say hi to everybody. Mandolin, I missed you. Tornado warnings, I've heard. And did I see Shannon? And Christine, I better not. I just want to make sure Stephen, is it Stephen or Stefan? Stephen. Clarice from Idaho, where do you buy your jackets? Just sheared my sheep and want to start covering them. I actually buy Rocky Mountain sheep covers. There's a couple of other ones. There's Matilda, which I really do like Matilda. They fit horribly, and they're from Australia. They're not durable at all. And what do I like about them? They're really slick. They're really slippery, so they don't felt your fleeces unless you have them too tight. But I buy Rocky Mountain sheep covers, the lightweight ones. He does a very nice job, and he's actually a very nice man. Made in America. What more can you ask for? There's another company that is not widely known, and I ordered hers, and the fabric on them, it's not as durable as Rocky Mountain sheep covers. And they can felt your fleeces. Probably not if, you know, they're pretty heavy. So you have to be careful because the heavier ones, they'll like put pressure and they will felt your tips. And you have to be careful. So, and I do put mine on right after they're sheared. Like I don't even let them, they don't even go in the pen for it. They literally, the second they're sheared, the blanket goes on them. Right as I'm standing them up, I put the blanket on, I zip tie the back so that I don't have to change, you know. That's how I make them smaller, is with the zip tie. Some people say, it's so dumb because this could not possibly work. But the elastrator bands, those ones that you use to castrate, but I use zip ties. I have zip ties. You'll find zip ties everywhere on my property, everywhere, because they're always falling out of my pockets. Let's see. Blue Mountain Fiber Mill. Her son is one. Is an auctioneer. We should ask him. In other words, you. And then Ms. Shelley says, "I love." Really, he loves it. Okay, well, you guys, I need people to like get in touch with me. And I don't speak Spanish, Pedro. I don't want to say that because I don't know what it means, and it might be something naughty. Wool Tinker for sheep coats. She has elastic in the neck, and it's Wool Tinker. It's true. Wool Tinker. I'll tell you, Ellie Mae. Her blankets are really well made. I'm not going to say that they're not, but for me, they weren't as durable. Like that's for me, and I have a different kind of fencing than other people might. I have the 2x4 mesh that's on the boards, and so some of those wires they start sticking out a little bit, and the sheep like to rub against them, and it'll catch it. So and I'm not saying they were amazing. They were, but for me, they were really well made, and she's a nice lady, nice or man, I don't know, nice manufacturer, made in America too. So I say nothing bad about that, but just for my conditions, they weren't. And then you have to be careful if you have wet weather. You have to be careful because your fleeces can felt with a heavier blanket. And then Ike says, "How do you feel about chickens in the house with diapers on?" Well, about the same as I feel about lambs in the house with diapers on, like your house starts smelling. And then Pam says she loves zip ties. Oh, Pam, what are you into? Do tell. She's like, "Stop being naughty." You guys like that? I just blew your eardrums out. So anyway, okay, so other than that, so you guys, my husband's off tonight, so I'm not going to do this too much tonight because I want to get naked. Anyway, you guys like, we don't care. He actually went to the heavy equipment auction, which I couldn't buy anything. They sold like a trailer that I wanted that's brand new for like $12,000, and this one, believe me, was not brand new, for like $9,000. There are deals. Unfortunately, at this one, I have to have a deal. I have to buy a deal. I can't, like, I don't have money. I know it seems crazy. It sounds stupid, but like even, okay, so I'll tell you the thing, my saga of my teeth, like it's so stupid. But in there, like I am a throwdown bitch. I don't take shit. I just don't. And I have boundaries. Like I'm nice until someone hits the boundary, and the boundary isn't very far. So if someone starts like, especially if they're trying to manipulate me, the boundary will be in about the second sentence where I say, "Okay, whoa, like I'm going to let you know right now that this is not going to work for me, and this is why." And then I explain, if you want to get anywhere with me, you have to be straight. But if you start manipulating me, we're going to have a problem. So what happens is, you guys, that this one tooth that I have down here has been the saga because, this, and it's still going on because the crown they put in and it broke. So I had to go in again, drive an hour and a half there and an hour and a half back, and to get a new impression. They took 2 new impressions. So now I have to go back to have the crown put on. You guys, it's so stupid. But I have one that's supposed to be getting an implant here because I broke it on a chocolate chip cookie. They pulled it. This is a different dentist because Saboba, the Indian clinic, doesn't do implants. So, and it's an implant place. That's all they do. So I have hooks on. You guys are like, really don't give a shit. But I have hooks on the roots of my teeth, so they're very hard to pull out. Doesn't matter. What happens is when he went to when you put in the peg, the screw to put the tooth on, it follows the natural way that the tooth, where the bone is. So like, it's like putting, something, if it's like a channel, it's like this, and you go to put it in, it's going to follow the pathway, right? So he hits the root of the tooth next to it with this thing. Instead of like putting a bone graft, letting it heal, and then putting the screw in, they do it all at the same time to make it faster. But what that did, because they didn't have any bone there, is it followed that pathway, hit the root of the other tooth, and he said, "Uh-oh," which you never want to hear from a dentist or a doctor. And he says, I hit the root of your other tooth. He goes, "But I think it's going to be fine." And I was like really worried, but what am I going to do? He's hit the root and I'm numb. I don't know well, it hurt for like 9 months. And I just thought it was because it was like trying to get a hold of itself, and then it was fine. So I was like, okay. So then I went back to have the next step done, and the bone graft failed. So they had to rip everything out. And I had went to another dentist in Mexico because I wanted him to do it, to finish it, because it was going to be cheaper. And he said, the tooth next to it has got a problem. And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And then I was like, shit, maybe, I'm hoping he's wrong. I was hoping he's wrong. And he said, "Well, we can't do it anyway because we don't have the same, you have to have the same manufacturer to put this tooth on, right? The abutment or whatever." So then I go back to the original dentist, and then one of the owners happens to be the dentist that's doing it that day. And I said, hey, listen, one of your colleagues told me that he hit the root of my tooth, and I'm really worried. But the guy didn't say anything, so I thought it was fine, right? But he's cleaning out but he's the one that saw that it failed, the bone graft failed. So then he puts in another bone graft and another peg, and then I go back in, and I've left it, now it's been 9 months. I go back in, and he goes, it failed again. And he's like, this has never happened. And he's like, I'm going to have to think about this, why this would fail. So, and I'm like, great, because now they have to pull it out. And now they've been digging I can't even tell you. So this has been like, how many times have I been there? Like 6 now, 7 times. And it's an hour and a half away. So he comes back and he goes, I think it's the tooth next to it. I said, I actually told you. I said, your colleague, and I just went back over the story. I said, your colleague, and now I actually have a cavity right above the crown, right there, and that has to be fixed. And which I just been to Saboba yesterday too in the morning to get this one fixed, and they made an appointment to have this cavity fixed, and they're gonna have to pull the crown off and put another crown on, which was only gonna be $200 because it's Indian Health. So anyhow, so I said, and then I explained it to him, and I said, so you guys, that tooth was fine, and I had a very expensive cosmetic dentist to put that crown on. I said, and I'm telling you, like, if it were not for him hitting the root of the tooth, this would not be happening. And now, you're looking at $5,000 to $7,000 is how much it costs to have an implant tooth, right? So he's like, oh, okay, yeah, okay. And usually when I'm there, he's totally flirty with me, totally flirts. He's like a little bit older than me, maybe. And anyway, so this girl comes back and she goes, this is what he can do for you. He'll charge you only $2,000. I look at her, I go, oh no, he won't. He's not going to charge me only $2,000. I said, tell him to get in here now. So he comes in like a little boy who's gotten like his hand slapped. And I said, okay, I'm going to tell you something. I said, you want me to be in physical pain, that I have to have my tooth ripped out of my head, and financial pain, and you have no pain? Bullshit. I said, this is what's going to happen. I said, I'm not paying there's no way I'm paying $2,000. I said, and I was pointing my finger. I stood up, and when I stand up and start pointing my finger at you, like it's an hour, and I'm starting to get loud and really wound up. And as I'm getting wound up, he gets this like little boyish grin, like he starts smirking. I'm like, okay, if you're going to start smirking, like you're not going to be able to, like your case is already done. But I said, the good news is everything is documented. I came in here, you did the whole, what is it? The x-ray completely around the side of my face. The tooth was fine. It shows, I'm sure, him hitting the root of my tooth in the other x-ray. I said, it's all there. This is like a lose-lose situation for you. I said, this is not going to happen. And then he's like, okay, fine. What is it that you want to pay? I was like, this is what I want to pay. I think it was going to cost me $200 to have a new crown put on this tooth from Indian Health. And I understand that my teeth are hooked. I will pay you $600, and that's all I'm paying for the entire thing. For the crown, for the whole 9 yards, for the flipper, because now I have to have because I have a fake tooth, right? A fake, like a partial? I said, and they were more expensive because it's not the full one. It's just a little tiny piece that fits in, right? They're like $500. I said, that's all I'm paying. And he goes, okay. And that was that. But now I have to have, so it's just like so agonizing. I have to have this tooth ripped out. Now I have to have 2 more bone grafts. It's so irritating. It really, but you guys, and it's not, tooth problems are not, I just hate it. And my mother didn't give me fluoride. Really do. Anyway, Dr. O, he does full mouth makeovers in 1 day. They say they can do that. I don't think they can. And then Standing Bear Outdoors. Hi, Standing Bear Outdoors. Sorry about your teeth. Hopefully you check out Love Stitches Co. on Etsy. Love Stitches Co. on Etsy. Love her crochet goods. Eco-friendly. Okay. Ellie Paris, 45 minutes from 4. Wait, okay. Madeline was talking about her town. Leroy Van Dyke, Auctioneer Song, 1956. I will check that out, Mary Wildflower. And B. Firmick. We are big fans, by the way. Are you talking about me? Are you big fans of me? Because that would be really nice. That would make me feel really good. Oh, and B. Firmick says we're a 4-H family in Phoenix. What do you think a good first fiber sheep would be? Okay, wait. Mostly meat sheep, but we knit and spin. Corriedales. Hands down. The best, and not because I would sell you one, by the way, but you need a Corriedale breeder, if you need a Corriedale breeder like Rupert or something like that. I'm building my flock so I don't sell them, but there'll be a great meat sheep. You'll still like them for that, and they have amazing fiber. But don't buy one like from the fair. You have to buy a fiber Corriedale, someone that breeds for fiber sheep. Hi, Jen Eddington. And she says she doesn't think Matilda are in business now. We have not been able to get reply from them in ages. That was a bad businessman, by the way. So one time, you guys, so Jen, So I contacted the guy because I needed a bunch of blankets. I mean, I wanted to buy it was like a few $1,000s worth of them. And he goes, well, you're in the States, right? And I was like, yeah. And he said, well, there's a gal that was a dealer for me, and she didn't pay me and has a bunch of my coats. So why didn't you contact her and try and buy them from her? Okay, just to let you know, that's not very good business. But he said, I'll give them to you for a discount if you can get them. So on one hand, it was really smart. And on the other hand, normally if someone wants to give you a few $1,000s, you don't want to tell them to go and try and hunt down some chick that didn't pay you. And then Madeline says she needs a shot of whiskey. And then maybe your son needs, because he was crying. And then maybe he needs a shot of whiskey. Just kidding. So, let me read. Caramel Cross, coats work great for my flock, but I have a ton of Rocky also. So Ellie Mae says, yeah, Ellie Mae, yeah, because you have really, I don't have any that are super oily like that, so I can see why they would work. And then Shannon says, you go, girlfriend. The funny thing is, so Allison, my friend Allison LaFane, that you'll see her on here sometimes, who's been my friend since high school, she's a paralegal. She's a throwdown bitch, let me tell you, because she's a paralegal. She does not take shit from anybody. And but she gives those letters. She sends those letters, and she gets her way. She's the one that's got the dog hospital that charged her $20,000 when she came to visit me. $20,000, and the dog had an upset stomach. I'm not shitting you. They tried to tell her it's this, and they're gonna have to do surgery, and then they're gonna have to give her the serum. I'm not shitting you. And the dog had, in the end, has an upset stomach. VCA hospital, animal hospital. She got out of all of it. She didn't have to pay one penny of it. Point being. So anyway, I was telling her the story as I'm getting back from the dentist because I can't believe this is happening to me, right? And actually, I can't believe it's happening to me. But I'm telling her the story, and she starts laughing, and I'm like, what is so funny? Why are you laughing? She goes, I can't believe you just told them right there. She goes, I would have said, yeah, whatever, okay, and then went home and written them a letter. And that would have, I'm like, but I think it's so much better in person. Like, see, that's the difference. Like, for me, it's like strike while the iron's hot. Like, I'm right there, and plus, it's a business, and there's people in there, and my voice is raising. Do you think that he really wants me to come uncorked? But I didn't add this part. When I said, I'm going to pay you $600, and that's how it's going to be. And then he goes, I think I like you. You're really feisty. Yeah, totally hitting on me. I think I like you. You're really feisty. No, but you wanted to charge me $2,000 for fucking up my tooth. I mean, honestly. Please. My God. And then Ike is asking me how many sheep I have. I have about 300. Hi, Andrea. And Linda Lightcap. Hey, okay. How's my old spray truck? Okay, Mary Walcott. And I have not picked up the spray truck yet. And the guy, Sean's, my tractor came right before. I literally, at 5:45, I got my tractor. So my tractor came from Arkansas. And so listen to this. So I told you I get back hauls. So in the company, I deal with the guy, I've had him haul several things for me. And I'm really good, I'm very fair to them. And he's very fair to me. So he got nervous about, dropping my truck off if he wasn't paid, which, he doesn't know me that well. So, okay, that's understandable. So I was getting Botox, and which I love my friend Jenny. My friend Jenny, she totally, she's so good to me. She's the flight attendant that I've been my friend for 35 years. And she banked me a bunch of Botox. It's expensive, and so I have 120 units for free, which is roughly, normally it's 10 times 100, so that'd be $1,020. And and then I have this big. You guys are like, do we really have to talk about your face? Yes, we're going to. But I have, from this tooth, I'm sure being infected that nobody knows was infected. I have this puffiness in this eye that was driving me crazy, and I was just talking about it in there, and she put filler in it for me, which was $750. I love Jenny. I'm sure they thought, boy, those girls must be sleeping together, because why would a friend pay that for her friend? Because Jenny's generous. And I'm generous too. I mean, I am a generous person, but I don't have the money to be that kind of generous. But anyway, unless there was a goodwill of Botox and filler. Why did I even tell you that? I don't even know. Why did I tell you that? Was it the spray truck? Why was I telling you that? I don't know. A deal. Hang on. Wait, I'm going. Oh my God, Ms. Shelley scored a dually flatbed tall water for $1,000. Jeez Louise. And Christine's jumping on the zip tie bandwagon. And then Shannon says, yes, we do have to talk about you. It's just so funny because it probably seems like a different world. And so when I was talking to Jenny today, actually, I was saying when I was in Tulare, which I love the name Tulare, and Visalia, and I think it's because there's the Visalia bits, BITS bits, horse bits, the vaquero tradition, Western Americana. And so I love the name Visalia. And so you go there and you don't realize you're in California, but it reminds you that California was an agricultural state, because you see like the big square balers, and it's just like you could be in Iowa, flat, you can't see anything, and it's just hay and it's just fields. It's like I feel so at home when I'm there. It's so easy to forget because I live in Southern California. You guys, there's like more than 10 million people in Los Angeles. Think about that. More than in New Zealand. Almost three times more than New Zealand in one city. So you know, and I'm an hour from there. I mean, it's just city. So you really forget. You forget that this is that because when I'm traveling to teach, you know, I go to these agricultural communities, and I my heart longs for it, you know. But then I realize it's not very far away. It's like 2.5 hours away, and I can be back, you know, even though California isn't favorable to agriculture. So it's not, you know, the taxes. So my mortgage is $800 a month, but my taxes make it $2,400. My taxes and my insurance. Can you believe that? Think about that. My mortgage is $800, but I pay $2,400 because of insurance. And not insurance because they know about the Airbnbs. That's just insurance just for the house. That's how much property taxes are in California. How does you can't live like that. That's why, I mean, you guys, like it's a constant, that's why I shop at Goodwill. I mean, there are things that I'll spend money on, like, you know, my shoes I will spend money on, but there, you know, for the rest of the stuff, it's basically comes from, even this jacket it's a really nice jacket, and it's got a silk lining, but I bought it in UK when I was getting wool. I want to say I paid like $8 for it at a thrift store. You guys are like, oh my God, she just drones on and on about herself. Ah! I do. I'm sorry. Moving on. Okay. Hi from Montana, Christina. And then Eastern Washington is like that, Shannon said. And because I am spicy. And Ellie Mae says, take a deep breath. The guy didn't want to drop off your truck. Oh, wait. The guy didn't want to drop off your truck. You were getting Botox. No, the guy, no, he wants me to come get my, I was talking about the guy, he wants me to hurry up and come get my truck, because I don't know why he wants me to hurry up and get my truck. But he does, but I have not got it because I have to hire someone. So it's just all that money, you guys, I had to just pay. I mean, it's just so much money goes out. Anybody who has a business knows it's just, there's so much money that goes out. It just is obscene. Oh, I was telling you guys about the truck. He didn't want to drop off thank God someone's paying attention. He didn't want to drop off my tractor because he hadn't been paid. So I'm getting Botox, and I get a text that says, will you please pay me? And I was like, absolutely. So I actually send him an image of my credit card, which I know works because I pay the bills, right? And I'm really dedicated to like being perfect about that. So he writes back and he goes, it was declined. And he shows me a picture of declined, and I write him back and I say, that's actually not possible because that card totally works. I said, are you sure you put the numbers in right? Question mark. And then he writes back, he goes, I take payments from people all over the world. Okay, mind you, this guy and I have a really good relationship. You're like, really? Because it doesn't sound like it. But he's like, gets kind of nasty. And he's like, I take payments from all over the world, and I have never had a problem processing anybody's payment until right now. And then I was like, oh, I felt bad because I'm embarrassed. Like he thinks I'm a deadbeat. Like I'm giving him, you know, like I don't pay my bills or something. And so I said, oh, okay, I'll call Capital One. So I tell them, I excuse myself from the doctors. And then as I'm dialing, I'm looking at the thing to get the number off of the picture because my husband had to send me the picture. And I look back and he goes, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, my bad. He put it in wrong. Yeah. And then he was really apologetic. Yeah. But that's the kind of stuff, like to be honest with you, early in my customer service, I was a little bit defensive. I really try not to be defensive. It doesn't have any place in business. It really doesn't. That term, the customer's always right, sounds like it is a cliche, obviously, but the customer's always right. It's just not worth it. It is just not worth it to ever. So my daughter, someone I wrote in the listing for my Airbnbs, I said, if you need a driver, we can provide one for you, at an additional cost. Some man, and he has to be wealthy, said, we want a driver. Because instead of having to go to each winery and get an Uber every time you go, because you can't walk in between them, by the way. So he said, we'd like a driver. So my 17-year-old daughter, I tell her, okay, Jade, you are going to take this man and his wife wherever they want to go. And don't ever say no, and do not ever say, I don't know. What you say when you don't know is say, I'll check on that. And then you get on your phone and you check. And if he's wants to know something like for an example, where's a great cheese shop? I don't know. I don't eat cheese. That's the that kind of service pisses me off. You don't have to know everything, but just say, let me you know what? That I'll check on. We don't care whether or not you don't eat cheese. I mean, that's service, right? We don't care. Don't interject yourself into the conversation. And I said, no matter what, you are going to say, you have to make an affirmative to everything. She got, it actually would have been like $68. He was paying $28 an hour. He gave her $140 because she did exactly what I said, because that's service, right? Why did I tell you that? You guys are like, God, Natalie, somebody literally, I think I could be, was it? No, it's left again. It left again. There was a reason. It was customer service. Or no, it was like the way you have to always with people like fighting with people, or trying to point out that you're right with customers, especially ones that are unhappy. And so like if somebody makes a mistake, like some lady ordered scrap box rejects, and it says in there that it says right there there'll be felted pieces and you may have to rewash it, etc. But it's $30 a pound for dyed fiber, right? And some of the locks are like this long. I'm not shitting you. Like there's some really great stuff in there, and there's some crap stuff in there too. But you can usually fix it, right? And so she's like, well, I have I can't even remember. It was like 2 ounces, and I usually overpack things anyway. But she's like, there's a couple ounces that are felted, and I was like, let me give you your money back immediately. I said, but just so you know, I wasn't trying to be right, but I was just letting you know that does say it in the listing. I said, I was just letting you know, here's your money. You don't have to send it back, but I did point, because I don't want someone going, and then she sent me felted stuff. And I'd said it was pristine. It's scrap box rejects for a reason. It says rejects. And so, and then she wrote back and she was like, well, sorry, I didn't, but I didn't, it doesn't, I'm not busting her balls. But I think really the problem is in our society anymore is that, people don't know how to, you don't have to be right. And sometimes it doesn't matter if you are right, just walk away. Because if you fight, you're going to lose. If you fight with the customer, you're going to lose. They're going to hate you. And on top of it, you're going to lose money because you're going to have to give them their money back. So you're losing in two ways. So at least if you give them their money back with a smile on your face, then you are, they're not pissed off at you. They got their money back. They get to keep the product. And, then that's that. They can go somewhere else, but they don't hate you. Because, I don't know, is red light, green light, yellow light, is that still going? That group? What is it called? Fiber Transactions Board? Oh my God. I don't think there's a seller on the face of the planet that wishes that didn't exist. I'm serious. Because, people can be really unfair. Like somebody ripped some lady one time because she got just under a pound. And listen, for everybody that doesn't know, that doesn't sell, when you buy a pound, if I ship it from California to Maryland, it's going to cost $8.20. If it's even 1 ounce over priority, they are going to bump you up to the next price, which is probably going to be $10.95. So I go ahead and risk it and often have to pay it to make sure that you have 16 ounces. But when you put the bag on there and the label on there, it's going to be over 16 ounces. So the way, I'm sure that the people, the person that's selling, but you should say that in your listing, it's for a pound, but it's technically not going to be a pound because, that's what the person should say. But the woman was furious that she got it was like 15 and, a half ounces instead of, yeah, I know. And that's one of those chicken shit. That's a chicken shit red light, like telling someone a seller's bad because of that. That's not right. And everybody, no one's making a killing here in this business. And so I think that's really, we have to also look at, I just think being vindictive it depends. If the person was nasty and evil and was saying horrible things to you, like, that's one thing. Then they deserve a red light. But if somebody's just trying to, make a living, I don't believe in being, I just think that it's, like, you guys know, I don't like all of these people that come to my Airbnbs, which, oh my God, you guys, let me just tell you someone remind me to tell you about Connery and the Airbnb. So anyway, you guys aren't going to believe it. You are going to believe it. Anyway, so I just think that being vindictive, it's not good. It's not right. I don't like being vindictive. I think and I am a throwdown bitch, but being vindictive is a horrible thing. It's not good for anybody. It's terrible energy, and it hurts everyone. It even hurts the person that's doing it. So my son, so I was reading about, being a good Airbnb host one time I was reading about it. And one of the things it says is, and I know I've told you this before, it says, do not sleep. Why not to sleep with why shouldn't you sleep with your guests? So Sean and I were in this girl that's younger. She's staying there for 5 days last week. So Sean and I go to Tulare, so it's 5 and something hours away. When we left in the morning on Tuesday at like 3 in the morning to get there, at 8 for when the sale starts. And anyway, we get a message from this girl that says, hey, Connery's around my age, do you mind if I contact him about where the hot spots are? And I'm like, oh, great. Because this girl's, she's probably hot for him. And I was like, oh, my God. Because Connery's a challenge, I'm telling you. Like, he doesn't need to be dating. I mean, he can do whatever he wants. He's an adult, but I just have to let you know. I mean, he's in recovery, first of all, and, he's got bipolar disorder. And I'm telling you, he's a charmer. He is a charmer. He's really good looking, but, oh, my God, he's a challenge. Anyhow. So, but he's so charming when he meets people. People are like, oh my God, your son is so amazing. And I'm like, yes, he is amazing. But then, of course, in the back of my mind, I'm like, but wait till you flip that switch. And it doesn't take much to flip that switch. I'm going to tell you right now. So anyway, so Sean's like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Right? And I'm like, well, he's an adult and she's an adult. So you're just going to tell him that she wants to talk to him about the hot spot and just write her and be honest and say, hey, he's in recovery. He probably doesn't know where the hot spots are because he doesn't drink anymore. And when he wasn't clean and sober, he didn't go out here. He lived in Chico. And, I said, and just tell her she can, if she sees him, just, flag me down. You don't have to give him her number. So anyway, so this morning I have an outhouse in the back of my truck, an outhouse. I bought an outhouse that was used. You're like, wow, you're really upscale, Natalie. I'm turning it into a bathroom. And it's in the back of my truck, and I had to go somewhere today to Huntington Beach, right? And so I didn't want to drive into Huntington Beach with this outhouse in the back of my truck. So I calling Connery's name, and I can't get a hold of him, and I realized, oh my God, because the girl's here again. He's sleeping with my Airbnb guest. So I go and I knock on the door, rat tat tat, and I'm like, I'm sorry to bother you. Is Connery in there? He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh my God. Can I get a review, please, before you guys have a falling out? Please? Yeah. I know. What are you going to do? And then I was like, I hope he doesn't have his dog in there, because now I'm going to have to get the dog hair out of there. Then Ellie Mae, okay, let's see. I try so hard every week to be your life, and shitty ass internet gets in the way, and feeling thankful. I feel thankful that you're here, Ellie Mae. I really do. And then Shannon says, word of mouth can kill a business. Oh, shit, yeah. Hey, you guys, remember Amway was all word of mouth. And the whole company grew because of that. Mandy said she's jonesing for more I've spent up my last ones. What did you spin up? Our new scrap boxes are only on Facebook. Okay, Mandy A says, question for Natalie. Are new scrap boxes only on Facebook, or are they available on your website? I just used and spent up my last one. I'm jonesing for one, baby. Well, what one do you have? I have some here. Did you do the new, guys, I'm so stupid. Hummingbird. I'll make another one, you guys. I mean, I have a couple of really nice ones here. I just didn't put them on. I don't think they're on my website. What happened was I got a new server, and I have my, you know how you have, dedicated servers, like some people have shared servers, like let's say GoDaddy or whatever. I have within a server, I have my own server so that I don't have to compete with other people for bandwidth, right? So my website, when they did that, they lost a whole bunch of my posts of scrap, so like a year's worth. So that's why the scrap boxes, all my scrap boxes aren't on there. But if you go on Pinterest, you'll see Trisha was kind enough, who I love so much, my heart, I just love her so much. you'll see Trisha made a whole thing of scrap boxes. So what you can do, Mandy, is go on there, and if there's one that you like, I can make it with no problem. So Pinterest and look under Namaste Farms, and then look under scrap boxes. She made a little thing of scrap boxes. And then Christine's talking about the dental work, which is expensive and horrible. I know, it makes me sick. And then Linda says it's cynicism that's choking the world. Hallelujah to that one. And then Ike says, how can I keep an alpaca fleece great? What's a blanket and what type of blanket shall I use? So Ike, they have alpaca fleece. That's how you keep them clean, because you know they roll like a mother. And they roll in the dust. I just hate it. Bought my first Corrido last year. Lovely. Ellie made it. Missed all your notes. Sold to the American. Oh my God. I would totally keep saying that. And sold to the American. Yeah, totally. Natalie, why don't you move somewhere cheaper? I feel bad for you. Missy Allen, I can't. And why can't I? Of course I can. But because the equity in our house, I feel bad for me. I know you guys don't give a shit about my finances, but I'll tell you. First of all, we don't have a pension. You're going to think I'm full of shit, and why can't I spend money on things? Because I live on credit cards. That's what we do. And then I pay them, down as much as I can. And that's just the way it is. But the Airbnbs, I'm like most Americans. That's what most Americans do. It's a cash flow thing. I have a lot of cash coming in. I make a tremendous amount of money. I really do. But the problem is there's so much going out. So, it takes literally to break even just to be able to pay my bills is $12,000 a month. That's, you guys, it sounds stupid. It's not. It's like literally by the time, my truck's $1,000 a month. The Audi's paid for, but Jade's car is $400 a month. The tractor now is $600 a month. My electric bill is $1,000 a month. My mortgage is $2,400 a month. Right there. And that doesn't include anything for the animals. It's that simple, right? And, so that's why I started the Airbnbs, but it took, I had to put money into them to make them. And so, and it's just now that they're starting. So now I have 3 because I just added the trailer, right, this month. And then I'm going to have the hip camper. With the hip camping is going to be that tree house. And that tree house is going to have that outhouse that's going to actually have a toilet in there. It's going to have an outdoor shower, and it's going to be very cool. But it'll only be like $40 or $50 to $60 maybe dollars a night. It just depends. There's an inverse relationship between how much you're booked and how much money you're making. So the more you're booked, the less money you're making. And that's because if you're booked all the time, it means your prices aren't high enough. And why did I know this? Because Airbnb tells you. Like at first I was like, wait a minute, because I used to think it's stupid to have really lower your prices during the week, because it's stupid to have it open. And that makes sense, except that it cheapens it. When people are paying $70 a night, they don't want then to be bumped up to $200 a night on the weekends, right? It's just the way it is. And so on. So, but that's the only way that we can make things pencil, is to be able to have the Airbnbs. And otherwise, but the equity in our property is really big, and it'll just get bigger because I'm so close. I'm a quarter mile from the town. I'm the next road. There's one road that's town, and I'm the next road. So, and the wine country, I'm right at the wine. I have such a great location, and all the properties around me are very, the one across the street just sold for, I don't want to say, it was up for $12 million. $12 million. So, and it just sold, but it didn't sell for $12 million, but that's what it was at. And the whole point is that that'll be my retirement. You guys are like, do we really have to have a whole financial report of what you're doing? Well, I'm just being honest with you. So I have to. This will be our pension, right? It's every bit of money that we'll live off of for my husband and my life is wrapped up in this. So I have to stay here. I think another probably 10 years. We've been here 20 years. I think another 10 years, maybe not. It might not be, because the Highway 79 is one. It's me, one property and another property, and then it's the highway. So they develop all of Southern California, so they'll buy everything right to this road, and then you want to sell, because they just give you shit tons of money, because then they make it all commercial. Oh my God, was that boring for you? Because it was really boring for me, but I just was getting really into telling you the story. Because you know what it is? When I tell you the story, it feels like I have friends that understand, and because so many of us, most of us have financial issues or have had financial issues. It's very hard to it's very hard to have lived well and have to not live well. And I've lived, most of my life really well. Not because I have, manifested the money myself, except when I was modeling, but because, I've been fortunate, right? And then when you don't have money and, for whatever reason, it's tough because you still want the same quality. You still want to stay in really nice places. You still want to fly first class. You still want to have nice cars, but you can't have it all. So, you can't. So the only way I can fly first class is if I have points, and it's really brutal too. It's brutal to fly in coach. I have to tell you, for me, I never had to fly coach ever, and I'm just like back there going, oh my God, this sucks so bad. It really does suck. I don't think you ever get used to it. I just don't. First class is so nice, and they treat you so. I think part of it is the way they treat you. They treat you, suddenly are treated like, if it's like seatbelts on and you want to get up, they don't just say shit in first class. They don't. No matter what you want. I mean, you want like, single malt scotch. Okay. Whatever you want, they give it to you. And then you go and coach and try and get water for your pills, and they're like, it's horrible. It is. Anyway, moving on. Let's see. I'm reading. Airbnb, Ike, is like, it's like people rent their like cottages, or it's like a hotel, but it's on people's houses or their houses, or they rent rooms out of their house. And please don't forget to email me here. Okay, I'm going to try, darling. I'm going to try and remember. Customer service sex nowadays. Yes, Ellie Mae, it does. I need a hummingbird. The price I think it's like $39. I'm not sure. And then Ms. Jelly says, I love the scrap box I bought, but I don't have a wheel, so it's going slow hand spinning it. Oh, it would be slow. We're thinking of doing Airbnbs, but maybe not. Christina, I'm going to tell you. Pedro, love California, love Brazilian. Oh, does that mean girls? I'm not sure. And wait, I'm going up. Troll customers, yes, I agree with that, BN. Okay. I'm reading. I'm sorry, I'm getting back down to this. Please don't forget. Okay, there was something. I love outdoor showers. Me too. Thank you for telling what Airbnbs are like, short-term rentals. Yeah. So I'll tell you the thing about Airbnbs. It's awesome having them, but it is. So what is hard about it? It's hard being reviewed. I would have to tell you, like, that takes the fun out of it. It does, because you know that you can't have a bad day, and you can't have a mistake, because you could have a mistake with the wrong person. For example, so the trailer, it was like, I put fruit in there. I put fruit in for everybody, and I have to check them if somebody goes in, like if we've cleaned them, which we obviously do, and then it's been 3 days and it's the middle of the week, nobody's been in there, and then someone comes on the weekend, there could be a dead fly. Because when you open, I live on a farm, there's flies. And it says there, don't ever leave the door open because you'll get flies and they bite. So there could have been a fly that dropped on the pillow that died, in the meantime, in those 3 days. So I told Sean that nobody had been in the hammy. I call it hammy. So I said, I better go check a hammy. I go in there and I check and I look in the fruit bowl, and thank God I have my glasses on. And between the time I put the orange in there, which was 3 days beforehand, and then there was a little bit of mold on it. That kind of stuff, they would take a picture of it and they would post it like on the review. It would just be horrifying. Like, imagine living like that. Like if you, and my eyesight's not very good. Sean, like when he has to clean some, time for me, especially when I'm gone, he takes his phone with the flashlight, and goes on the toilet, like all around the toilet to make sure there's not one thing missed. He's like really good he's probably a better cleaner than I am. He doesn't look up though. Like I look for cobwebs, because you figure if they're laying there and they see a cobweb, and these are city folk, they're going to take if there's the cobweb could have happened overnight, literally, but that's the last thing you want is someone to take. So there's a lot of stress involved in that. And we're like, let's say that, okay, the hot water heater, like we have the hot water heater on our Airbnbs that heat up, right when you use them. It's not like a tank, it's a tankless. And if one piece of sediment gets in there, what happens is it'll run hot and cold. So all of a sudden you'll get a cold burst, right? And so the people that were here the other day, he writes and he goes, I'm getting scalded by your shower. There's no cold water. Oh my God. Like, a cold burst is one thing, but getting scalded, I was like, this is not good. Like, I looked at my husband, I was like, get your ass out there right now and take that fucking thing apart. Just take it apart. Like, I honestly was freaked out of my gourd. And Sean took it apart, readjusted things, and then it was fine. And he wrote me a really nice review. He's like, we had a little issue with the hot water heater, but they fixed it right away, and we really appreciate it. But I mean, imagine if, like, I mean, I'm just telling you, like, it's just, like, it's hard. And sometimes, I gotta be honest with you guys, I can be a little sharp and short. I really can. Like, Connery one time came up to me, and this is the wrong thing to do to me. Like, it says, it's very clear in there. I live on a dirt road. There's a lot of animals. There's dogs in the back that are loose. It's Goopy, who's, you know, a standard poodle. Connery was in one of his bipolar moods, and he comes in and he goes, Natalie. He calls me, he doesn't always call me Natalie, but when he's being a dick, he calls me Natalie. He's like, Natalie, there's people out there and they don't like that dog touching him. That dog is like part of the family, right? So I like jump up, but I'm pissed at these people. Like, who are these people like not liking Gooby, who's like the sweetest dog ever? Everybody loves Gooby. So I go out there and I said, I look at the people. I just assume what Connery said is the truth, which was stupid. I look at him and I said, hello, I'm Natalie. I said, I just have to let you know that animals are part of the property. That's the way it is. So if Gooby's bothering you, you know, I apologize, but it's just part of it. And they're like, we love the dog. I know. I like it. Like, I just have to know, like, never be sharp ever. But it pissed me off. Like, it's like, you know how it is? It's like, if someplace says, if you go to a daycare and you're irritated because there's children there, that's kind of the thing here. If you're irritated because there's animals here, but I assumed Connery was telling the truth and he wasn't. He was in a mood. He was in a mood. And so he gave me misinformation, which I should have known by him calling me Natalie. Anyway, you guys are like, wow. And now he's sleeping with this. I want to like give him, I want to put a piece of caution tape around him. I really do. I want to put a piece of caution tape around him. And the hard part is like, let's say hypothetically this girl wanted to date him. And you guys maybe can weigh in on this and tell me, like, I don't, he says he totally self-discloses, but I tell people all the time I'm a throwdown bitch, and then somebody will get in a row with me and wonder why I threw down. They'll be like, I just didn't expect you to get angry. And I'm like, wait a minute. How many times have people, it's not a joke. I'm dead serious. Like, I can really take people out hard. And I don't back down, and I mean it. Now, Connery is really honest and tells people all of the problems, but he's so charming. It's just like when I tell people I'm a throwdown bitch, they don't believe me. It would be hard for someone to believe him when he's in his charming mood that he could ever be the things that he says he is. So, like, I actually can't, like, I saw her this morning. I couldn't even look her in the eye. Like, I couldn't, because I am in my mind, I'm like, you're an adult woman, you know, but this is not a good situation for you. It's just not. So what would be a situation where I would think that it would be, he would need to have somebody that was so secure that they were like older, a lot older, and like his mood swings would not bother them. But any normal person, it really affects you adversely. And how do I know that this woman probably is not suited for him? Because she told me she's working for this company, and she had the boss sexually harassed her, and she actually reported him and got fired. Well, she did a really good job, and they ended up having a bunch of complaints on him. So so she went to human resources and said, pleaded her case. Then he had all these other cases against him, so they hired her back, but they hired her back in a different position and gave her $30,000 a year less. I was like, wait a minute. They're admitting you're right. They want to hire you back, and they give you a $30,000 demotion? I was like, bullshit. Like, that didn't fly with me. Well, she took it. That tells me that she's not well suited. You have to be a person, I think, of strong constitution to date somebody like Connery. Anyway, so let's just say hypothetically, like, it would be hard for me not to tell her that, you don't want to badmouth your kid, but you don't want to see someone hurt either. So I don't know what the answer is. And let's see. And then Linda says, saw your video on wool fiber structure and loved it. Thank you, Linda. I love you for that. And then Samantha says, we're living paycheck to paycheck. We totally get it. Used to be able to do so. I know. It sucks. And then Miss Dahlia notes, Mr. Stanley Marcus was the one who said the customer is always right. I love when you quote things. Deanna, we are your friends. Thank you, Deanna. Real estate is fascinating. Let's talk about, okay, let's know what she's saying. Ike says she talks so fast I can't understand what she's saying. That's so funny. That's really funny. See, I'm going to be a good auctioneer. I don't know if that means anything, though. And then Vienne says, we are thinking of doing the Airbnb. That's why I would hate it. God, Nolly, that is stressful. It's very stressful. And then Miss Shelley says she has to go be a good mom. Thank you, Miss Shelley. I'll put you in the drawing. Stephen says, seems like Connery needs to live somewhere else. Stephen, I'm going to tell you right now, he's not capable of living on his own. I'm not a coddling mother, by the way. But I actually talked to his sponsor about this, whose sponsor was a male prostitute, has been around the block. And I actually said to him, you know what, Pete, I got to be honest with you. I don't think Connery's capable of living on his own. And he goes, I know. He'd be homeless. And not because it's actually, what is his fault is he won't take medication. Okay, that I will tell you. That is his fault. But I already have one dead child, so I have strong boundaries with Connery. I will tell you that. Like I don't take any shit from him. I'll tell you, I will not take any shit. Like the other day, he was doing that. He was on that boom lift, and I can't remember what did I say. Oh, I yelled up to him. The chainsaw wasn't going, so he could hear me, but he had earplugs in. I didn't know because you can't see him, right? And I said, Connery, could you please get the branch? And he goes, and this is the first, like he would never say, he knows he better never say anything derogatory to me, like literally like name calling, which this was name calling, but in a passive aggressive way because it wasn't really name calling. He goes, he says, only a jackass would talk when I have earplugs in. I can't hear you. Oh my God. If he wasn't 30 feet in the air, I would have taken him by his ear. And I mean, I would have like literally laid into him and said, get the fuck off my property right this minute. And but then afterwards, I just, then like people like him, when they do stuff like that, they always are going to be so incredibly nice to you because they feel bad. But I don't care about feeling bad. What I care about is don't talk to me that way. So this is what happened. So I won't even look at him. I'm so pissed off. And so then he's like, can I help you feed? Can I help you? And he's doing this shit. And I said, Connery, let me just tell you something. There aren't very many things that I can say about my children that make me really super proud. I really can't. I have one dead child. I have one alcoholic son that's in recovery. That I am proud of you for. But the one thing I can say is that my children never backtalk me. And they never say unkind things or call me names. Please don't make a liar out of me. And now, I mean, he was shamed. Completely shamed. Completely. I said, you're 28 years old. I said, and you say that kind of thing to your mother? What kind of, I said, this is my house. And you're living in my house. And I allow you to live in my house. And you help me. Yes, that's true. But I don't deserve that. I said, I don't deserve that. I said, and if that's the way it's going to be, you need to leave. You need to get your shit and get out. And I mean it, because I'm not going to tolerate it. And I won't tolerate it. And that's, like, truthfully, it's really hard. And I know that there's so many people that every single one of you has been touched by mental illness in some way. Whether it's like Alzheimer's, like we've talked about, or like one of your children has been in recovery, or like me who has a dead child, or, I mean, but and it's really difficult because, the reality is that mental health they're really teetering on the edge. I mean, there's so many. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. But I go back to, it's one thing for him to affect me. I'm his mother, but it's another thing to affect another human being like this girl. Like, it really concerns me, and I need to not meddle in it. But let's just say hypothetically, like she was head over heels in love with him. I wouldn't be able to help myself. I think I would. Instead of talking about behind his back, I think, you know what I do? Actually, I think I've answered my own question. I think I'd have his sponsor present, and we'd have a sit down with all of them. And I would say, okay, let's just get it all out on the table. And I would say, I just have to let you know, Amanda, because I don't feel comfortable. Like, I have to know that there's been disclosure from other people, and here's where we're at. Like, I think really, and it's hard because he's so good looking. Women are always after him. But he, thankfully, as of until now, is just like, I'm in recovery. I don't need that. You guys, it's really scary. You're like, wow, this is a really uplifting conversation. Sorry, you guys. Full upfront disclosure thank you, Linda. Hi, Lisa. have no idea what Ike is saying. Yeah, because this is what he said. He goes, murder all of your dog videos go with. And then Ike says, that meant to say, where did all of your dog videos go? I don't know. They should be there. Do you ever sell sheep? And if so, what do they chance might move to Utah? Well, I live in Park City. Some of them would. Some of them would. It depends. I don't know how I mean, they live here and I'm in the desert. So I think so. I sell very few sheep. Every once in a while I'll sell a couple. And this year I have a huge lamb crop. It just depends. You'll have to write me, Mandy, at info@woolshampoo.com. That's the best thing to do. So info@woolshampoo.com, and I'll talk to you about it. And then we are your friends and we're here to listen. Ellie Mae. But also, you guys, it's not just that, but like me talking about it, because a lot of people, like, the one thing about me is I will self-disclose to people, which actually, it's helpful for me. It's very cathartic for me, obviously, but it's also helpful to other people because you guys already love me, and so you wouldn't be here if you didn't love me. So I can share these things with you and not feel that you're judging me, right? Even some people will be judging me, I'm sure, but the point is that because I feel free enough to tell you these things, there are people that are so many people are afraid to talk about their child is an addict or has bipolar disorder or talk about any of these things, and so you feel alone. And I don't feel I understand that my children, they're an extension of me, but they really aren't reflective of me as a parent. I'm not, and I've said I'm not the greatest parent, but I want people to know that they don't have to carry the burden themselves and they aren't alone, even if they can't talk to someone about it because they feel too vulnerable. And it really is difficult because I have to tell you, all I ever hear from other people is how their child got accepted to, to Ivy League school, or I meet, some of the people at Connery. Connery was highly functional in high school. I mean, he was really functional. He was popular and he, excelled, and he got into college right away. And, his mental illness really didn't start happening. I mean, there were signs of it. Don't get me wrong. There were like little windows into it. And I worried, like, is this a sign? And then you're like, there's nothing you can do. And then about 21 is like when it really came in strong. But, I don't, nobody wants to, I don't want to walk up to people and just like vomit all over them. Oh, and then tell them about my, what am I going to say? The only thing and I do say proudly all the time, without hesitation, when someone says my child's this, I go, well, my son, I'm really proud of him because, he's in recovery and he's never fallen off the wagon, ever. And that's really the only thing I can say about him. And he's a hard worker for me. For me, he's a hard worker. Do you want to be around him? No, you don't want to be around him because he's a dick. He's an asshole. And I tell him that. I go, the problem is you might be good looking, but you are an asshole. He really is. I say, just don't be one. Just be nice. It's not hard. And his dad is I'll tell you when I get really mad is when he's mean to his father, because Sean is so kind to him and kind to everybody. He doesn't deserve it. I can fight that battle. It's not fair to do it to somebody like Sean, who's just kind. Sean is just kind. I get so defensive of him, of my husband. Let's see. Is it Delia? Delia says, I get what you are saying. Thank you. How many years does he have? I'm not sure. Of clean and sober? I think this is going on his third. And he never fell off, which I appreciate. I had to pay cash for it, and it was $9,000. I didn't have the money. I had to put it on a credit card. Let's see, I'm reading. It does help us, Shannon. Thank you so much. And people suck, yes. And Ahmed. Hi, Ahmed. So anyway, that's the story on that. I need to go have sex with my husband, though, you guys. So I'm going to see if this thing works. You guys are like, we really didn't need to know that part. You guys, it's the high point of my day. Oh, my God. It's like, it is. And it's like the stress reliever. My life actually is not, my life is of, I know, I want to cry when I say this. It's because it sounds terrible, but my life actually is of little pleasure. It's really a lot of work, and it's very stressful. But like, this makes me really happy, and my husband makes me really happy. It really does. And other than that, I don't get a tremendous amount of pleasure out of life. I mean, it's hard, but I think a lot of it, for a lot of us, it's not depression. I'm not depressed. It's that life is very challenging. We live in a day and age, and where it is challenging. It's very challenging, and things are expensive, and the economy is better, much better. But especially if you don't have a pension. But I think in general, and children, I hate to say it, children are stressful. And I never thought of it. I just see so many parents that are just their children, they don't seem to worry about their children, and I worry about my children all the time, their mental health especially, and the animals, you have to worry about them because death is constant. I mean, it just never ends, death on a farm. And you walk out and you just are like, which one's going to be dead today? And then Samantha, yes, I did get all my dying done. Thank you. And then my animals make a lot of noise. And then, oh wait, Delia says my son is also mentally ill. Thank you, Delia. That makes me feel, I mean, I hate to say that. I'm sorry for you, but it's very difficult. I mean, it is very difficult, especially because, people think that all you have to worry about is just, they have all their fingers and toes. And it just goes so much further than that. It just beyond that. Like, I think it's that, like the movie, there's that movie, I don't want to even get into the movie. What one is it? It's called, it was with Elizabeth Hurley and Brendan Fraser, and it was a remake of the Dudley Moore one where she's the devil. And he keeps like making a bargain with the devil, but he's not saying specifics. So he's like, I want to be a really famous basketball player, and I want everybody to love me. And he says these things, but he doesn't get so specific. So what happens is his towel falls off, and he gets all these things. All the people love him, and he has this really small penis because he didn't add that. It's like when if you're asking for whoever the maker is, whether it's God, whoever it is, whatever it is that you believe in, it's like, it doesn't stop at, can I have 10 fingers and 10 toes? It has to be like, I mean, the list would be so long of all the things that you wanted for your child. I mean, and it wouldn't stop at birth. It would just go on until the very day that they died, right? And then Samantha says that a lot of family members that you go to rehab and you say no. Yeah, I agree. No relationships for 2 years. Oh, well, Pam, thank you. I don't feel like I am. But I think I just disclose and I just try. I really am an honest person though, and I try to put one foot in front of the other and just keep going. I'm going to try that thing right now. Okay, so I hope nothing happens because I'm going to try this thing where I'm going to put this YouTube and we're going to pick somebody and so what am I going to give today? So next week though, I'm going to give away the Die Secrets. So this a $395 class. And it'll be all through this so you guys know that I'm not, that I don't want, oh shit! I didn't lose you. I did lose you for a second, but I didn't do it on the wrong one, thank God. Oh my God. Hang on. You're still there. Okay, phew. Okay, I just have to put the URL in here and let's see. So this is going to be for top. This is going to be for 8 ounces of top. Comb top that's dyed. Pick random. Okay. What? My comments are not disabled. This dickhead. I did exactly what they said. Pick the random. I did it. Don't do this to me. I'm telling you. See, I'm so glad I didn't do it. Okay, I'm just gonna, and I'm gonna, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna pay for one. I'm gonna pay for one. But I'm just gonna pick something. So say yes if you want. How did the first life class go? It went good, Samantha. Thank you. Bedazzled is the name of the movie. Okay, so I'm starting with, okay, so I'll start with, because I know Samantha, it's, okay, so Samantha, I'm guessing you're going to be in it too, so I'll start with Samantha, or Lisa Wonderly. Just you guys, everybody who wants to be in the drawing, just say. So it's going to be, I'm going to show you the color that, let's see, it'll be this one, which is actually, don't think it's silk and merino. So some of this one. And then, let's see, what's the other one that I have? I have a whole, you guys, I have so much. It's absurd. And then, I'm going to try to find one that I have a lot of. And then I think this is a good one that's caught, this one. And it's silk and merino. Super soft. Ugh. I have, you guys, it's so bad over here because that sale. This one, I did my sale this weekend. This is one of my favorite ones that I dyed. It's BFL and silk. Oh my, the colors are going to come out crappy because it's going through the internet. But it's like there's grays in it and like, I just love it. And the silk, I love the way the silk, it's so pretty. I love this one. And it's so soft. And I actually love this one. I don't think a lot of people bought this one. I think my picture was really shitty. This one is so good. This is such a good one. It's still on facebook.com/teaswatersheep. It's so nice. It's BFL and silk. Let's see. I hate when I show them on this because it always looks crappy because the internet degrades it. Okay, so I'm just gonna wait until you guys are saying yes, 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 yes until the last person. And then Shauna says, how have I not known that you've been doing this every week? I've clearly been missing out. Oh, well, that makes me feel glad that you're not like, wow, you suck. And I'm so glad I've missed all the other ones. Sometimes I'm not on my game, I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I was hammered because my husband and I were getting busy in the day. And I've had like 4 beers and, partied. And then I come and do it. Not on my game so much then. I already forget where I'm at. Then I really forget where I'm at. Hi, Donna Marie. Okay, I'm still waiting to make sure. Let's see if this is the last person. My hair right now is like so thin. It's really bad. But I've noticed, because my hair keeps falling out because of stress, and then because I got really sick. But like there's a whole bunch that's growing here, and then if I go like this, all of this, like there's a bunch this length. Like it fell out and it's starting to grow back. Like this is like, I want to say like 2 years, maybe 2 years growth right in here. It was down to the back of my knees and it's like not even close to that anymore. I feel like just taking my tractor and just driving it around. But I don't want to blow out the clutch because I don't know how to drive this one yet. Okay, let's see. Okay, it looks like everybody's done saying. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go like, I'm just going to hit. Okay. I'm going to scroll. Wait, I just saw someone I didn't say hi to. Hi, Lonnie. Okay, wait, no, I'm going to do it the other way because it makes me nervous it's this way because I can't get everybody on the screen. Okay, wait, okay. I'm just going to I'm going to go random number generator. I'm going to just do it this way. Random number generator. Because from 1, I'm just going to say to 40, and if 1 to 40. 22. I'm going to really try and do it good. If you have your name more than once, I'm going to try and skip it. I started with Lisa. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ms. Kelly, Ms. Sutton Kelly. So, and then I'm going to pick another one. And it'll be different top. So, you have to send me your email, or your email, I'm so stupid, your address to Wool Shampoo, info@woolshampoo.com. 26, because I missed last week. So, 26, okay, you were 22. Deanna Riddle, but I see you love silky things, so I'll make sure. So both of you need to, and it's Saddlebutt. I don't know why, I don't know her address, and I put a post on Facebook and no one wrote anything, so I want Saddlebutt. You guys, if anybody knows who Saddlebutt is, I actually know who Saddlebutt is, but I can't remember who it is. I know Saddlebutt, but I can't remember whose name it is. So would somebody please, if you know who Saddlebutt is, will you please write her and tell her to send me her address? I did send Amber her stuff, but it makes me feel, I don't like to not fulfill my commitments. It makes me feel really bad. I love you guys. Next week, don't forget, I'm not exactly sure how we're going to do it because I'm going to have to either buy the random number generator that works, because I have to tell you, like, I have to make sure, because it's so valuable, I want to make sure that the right person gets it. Unless I pick the number, print this, the thing, and then I can sit there when you guys aren't like having to, because I'm trying to do it quickly, and I can mark off the people who have commented more than once, and then I can count and then circle that person. I mean, I'll tell you who what the number is, and then that way everybody will be on the same page. They will see, you would be able to do the same thing as me. You could, because the comments will always be there, even when the show's over. So you guys, because I really want this. I don't want, if I make a mistake and it's comb top, who cares? But if I make a mistake on this one, some people are going to care, and I'm going to care too. So anyway, okay, you guys, I'm going to see you next week, same time, same place, baby. Thank you so much. You guys made me feel so much better because I was jonesing for you. I'll see you. Thank you, everybody.